Yo, this is like 5 years old, and you guys might not have remembered this, but like, how did Fox do that? Like, what are you thinking? Same thing with the Jets, guys. I don't know what the hell they're trying to do at quarterback. It's not gonna work. We'll get in that now though, because it's time for the Jets roster grades. Really looking forward to this for sure. And with that, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Vulnerable. Please like and subscribe if you guys enjoy the NY. Yeah, Jay, the Jets. We're doing them today. I don't want to do them, but we got it because they are an NFL team, even though they haven't made the playoffs since 2010. And, you know, they haven't had a good quarterback in who knows how long. But, you know, the Aaron Rodgers experiment, all that last year. I'll get that in a little bit. But, again, if you have not watched previous roster grade videos in the rest of this series, I do go, suggest you go and watch the Aura Farm first, like 7 minutes of that, because that will explain how this works, because you'll be very confused otherwise. As well, the only thing that I think it misses is the fact that if there is like 234 points, which is, again, how we determine what the actual letter grade is about average. So consider that a C if you really don't care. All right, with that said, we will get into the Jets quarterback situation, which, again, is literally just Justin Fields. He is a bridge quarterback. I think everyone, again, the consensus is that. But I would even say that because, again, he can't read a defense. I mean, that's just the simple truth about it. Last year, he ran a fake offense with the Steelers. Whether it was as fake as this Jets offense again, last year would be a different debate, but we're not going to get into that. Again, he's never really been a good thrower of the football. I made it, again, if you watch the offseason short for the Jets, you would know that I did make a one that about him how he couldn't throw a couple years ago, and I think it was valid to make that point. Even though he hasn't even gotten close to throwing 3,000 yards in his career up to this point. Best season in pass was by far was in 2023, but even then he was very inconsistent that season. But last year, like I said, they ran a fake offense because Mike Tomlin knew he couldn't throw the football, so yeah. And I guess he was okay, but like even though, like I said, check downs and freaking, I don't even know what else to call those other throws. He's, again, great scrambler, but that really doesn't matter. Again, if you can't read a defense and, you know, you're not good. So, yeah, that's what I got on him. Maybe once in a while I'll get through progressions, but it's a one-read system with him. So, yeah, I really didn't understand that process there, especially with a guy like Aaron Glenn, who is more defensive guys side of the ball. So, again, in a lot of ways, I think this is playing out the way that Todd Bowles did with the Jets, which I think was 2 years, 2017, 2018. Really, mainly 2018, where we all know how that season went for the Jets. They went 4-12, and he was out. Tyrod Taylor last year, I guess he played. I cannot remember him actually playing, though. So I guess he threw 3 touchdowns. I can't tell you if that's true or not. But again, he started with the Giants in 2023 for a little bit. He was good against the Rams. Our defense kind of was bad that game against them. But yeah, he's definitely not a guy you want to see on the field again. You know, you're probably waving the white flag. The only season he actually looked like a legit starter, though, was probably 2021. Before he got injured, because in that Week 1 game was pretty crazy. Speaking of that, I completely forgot the Rams-Giants game. What year was that? 2024? Yeah, that was the game. All right, anyway, Jets quarterback situation, keep going here. Brady, Adrian Martinez, he might actually be worse than, what's his name? Justin Fields throwing the football. But the only reason I say that is because I'm kind of salty. A couple years ago, it was 2022, maybe? Yeah, 2022 against Oklahoma, bro. He freaking blew up the game for us. He had like 10 rushing touchdowns. Jesus. I mean, I guess he's good like that. I don't know if he'll make the roster, to be honest with you, because this guy. No, Brady Cook's even worse. Brady Cook's such a boring quarterback to watch, guys. I'm sorry. That's just simple truth about it. Last year, he didn't really throw the football much. He threw 2 picks, though, so I guess that's happening. But 2023, after being the worst quarterback in the SEC in 2022, I guess he's a little bit better. He's worse last year. Really didn't help his draft stock. And again, him and Adrian Martinez duking it out. Probably the biggest training camp battle to watch for the Jets fans. But again, we look at the Jets quarterback situation. I got to give them a D. Again, you could give them, I guess if you're really into Justin Fields, you could give him a D+. But, he's worse than Caleb Williams is, guys. That's just simple truth about it. I actually think he definitely is worse. And this offense is just not going to be very good. That's just simple truth about it. I mean, maybe they'll be okay, but yeah. Justin Fields is not a quarterback you want to see in the field. Definitely not starting caliber. And yeah, rough situation for them there. Now let's get into the rest of this offense. At least the guys outside of the big woods, which we'll get to in a little bit. But yeah, time for, the skill positions. And I guess we'll get this started out with running back, which I guess I'm somewhat enthused to talk about. Breece Hall last year was kind of not impressive after a 2023 season where he put up 1,500 yards from scrimmage, something like that. Was still a pretty solid receiving back. I gotta put that out there. Even then, he was actually used a lot more effectively, which again is probably the only good thing that Nathaniel Hackett figured out last season. Again, he's not a completely awful coach, but yeah, he's not good. As a runner, wasn't as effective whatsoever. He's never really been a guy that I'm too like big on his actual like approach and like how he like gets downhill, but still he's pretty twitchy in a lot of ways, and I think again he breaks tackles at a somewhat decent clip, not great though. He's definitely got to step it up this year though if his offense is going to be productive. Braylon Allen last year did not, I don't know what they were trying to do with him, but it really didn't work at all. After that week 2 game against the Titans, really didn't do too much the rest of the season. I think overall, the O-line didn't do a great job on blocking for him because he's definitely a different type of back. He's, again, a power back, and I don't know why they didn't try to use him like that. It was very bizarre. But I think he'll have a better year this season because, again, I think they have a better idea of what he's going to be able to do. But still, very not good year last year overall. Isaiah Davis. This guy is fast. Like, that's all I got on him, guys. Like, he can freaking move. But, like, yeah, in terms of, like, breaking tackles and stuff and, like, staying up, I think he actually has good contact balance. But I wouldn't say he has great. Doesn't break too many tackles though. Keenan Nwangu, he had that one touchdown, I think like 2 or 3. 2020. What was it? 1 with the Vikings. That's really all I remember from him though. Oh my God, Pokey Wilson, what a name. We'll get to him in a second though. This running back room isn't my favorite. I'm gonna still give him a B+ though. That might be. We're gonna say a B because like guys, Breece Hall really wasn't all that last year, and like the rest of the running back room leaves a lot to be desired. So I'm gonna say a B there, and that would be like even nice. I think Breece Hall is one of the most overrated players in the football though. That's what I'll say. Still a very valuable back, guys, but like he ain't that crazy. Like Alvin Kamara's like a solid tier above him, which we'll get to him soon. So when we get to the Saints, that's gonna be a B tier or B grade. Yeah, not B tier. Nothing be higher than that. That's going to be 18 points and 24 overall for that running back room. Then we get in this receiving core, which is really not that good at all. Garrett Wilson, obviously, is the number 1 receiver. He's still not had a consistent quarterback to throw to. I think last year he did underperform a little bit, though, with Aaron Rodgers. Did not have his best season by any means. He's always been a guy that's be really good underneath his possession. Guy can run really some nice underneath routes. But his downfield presence, like a big play threat, really was just not there last year. I think the only season I think I'm like that was actually a part of his game was 2022. Not completely his fault, but I think, he could have done a little better there. His release package has a lot more nuance to it, which I like a lot. But at the same time, I think his approach to some of the routes he's running could be a little bit better. But again, he's still, a true number 1 guy. Really good player. Josh Reynolds was just, I don't know what happened to him last year. He left. He just wasn't in the league, I guess, last year. I don't know what to tell you guys on him. But again, he's always been good with Jared Goff, and that's really about it. Because, like, when he was with the Titans, he was not good. Then he went over to the Lions. And, he's best buddies with Jared Goff. But ever since he left Jared Goff, he just hasn't been good. Maybe Justin Fields will get into him, but he's probably not a number 4 receiver at this point, guys. Like, unless he's with Jared Goff, he's like a number 2, but outside of that, he's like not even a number 4. Allen Lazard actually wasn't bad at all last year. I don't think he really got, again, him and Aaron Rodgers always had pretty good chemistry, but even then, I don't think Aaron Rodgers was really him and like were really on the same page the entire season. He was absolutely god-awful in 2023. Again, after a 2022 season where he actually probably put up legitimate number 2 numbers in an offense where he was their number 1 receiver, which is just insane. But I think he actually had a solid year last year, all things said. Again, he's freaking 6'5", so I hope so. But yeah, again, he took a pay cut to stay on this team, but I think he is a guy that could put up some production for them, even though he really isn't that great. Malachi Corley, yeah, he, I think, the play where he went, it's like crazy. Jonathan Taylor's was the same, was probably, again, kind of overshadowed this, but, that's his season. Arian Smith is a freaking just complete scrub, guys. I don't know what to tell you. At Georgia, he had, like, so many goddamn chances, and he just was not the guy last year. Yes, I understand he had a couple big plays here and there, but, like, these numbers are not, he should have put up better numbers than this, guys, because he was literally the only receiver in that offense, like, absolutely at all last year. It was bad. Again, the running back situation wasn't great either. Again, I don't know what the hell Georgia was doing last year. Tyler Johnson's not a receiver. Xavier Gibson, I don't know how he, like, also not a receiver. Again, a decent returner, though. Is he even the returner anymore? Yeah, he still is. That's what I thought. And then they have Pokey Wilson, who is the best nickname in football. Like, Pokey, bro, that's such a good name. I don't know how good a football player you are, but you got a great name, bro. Anyway, though, for this receiving room, it's not great. I'll probably say it's a C+, which might be like, how the hell is it that low? Guys, be frank. If you have one receiver you can consistently throw to, you know what? I might give them a B. I gotta say a C+, though, because, like, I'm gonna stick at a C+. There, be strong. Is it better than, this is tough. Is it better than the Titans? Let's look at the Titans. I think I give the Titans a C+, too. Calvin Ridley's not even close to as good, though. Honestly, I'm willing to say it's a C+, though, because, like, Allen Lazard, is he as good as Tyler Lockett right now? Might be a little bit better, but is that really saying much? And you got Garrett Wilson, who, like, is definitely better than Calvin Ridley. I'm gonna hold strong and say it's a C+. You could absolutely give it a B- if you wanted to, but I'm gonna stick it at a C+, because, like, they literally only have 2 guys to throw to, and one of them is, like, not even that good. So that's what I got there. Tight end is a big mystery. Mason Taylor I like a lot coming out because I think he's definitely a guy who breaks tackles with a tight end, really good yak threat. So even if he doesn't really develop much as a receiving tight end, he'll be a solid blocker for you, and you can get underneath to him and he'll make plays, which is good because a lot of tight ends just don't have that coming out. So again, that's huge. But yeah, definitely limited at tight end for sure with him. But again, he should be a good player. Andrew Beck will be a solid, again, versatile guy, help with his offense. And you got Jeremy Rucker, who's a solid tight end as a backup. And then Stone Smart, again, he had that one touchdown against the Packers a couple years ago. That's really all I remember about him. And then Zach Kuntz, I don't even know how, bro, the last name, bro, like what the heck, like, guys, there's some like American last names. I'm like, how is that allowed? But anyway, I'll give him a C- tight end. That might be a little bit generous, but I think, again, Mason Taylor could definitely live up to it at the very least. Again, I'm not expecting too much out of him, though, here in his first year. 8 points to tight end. Time for the O-line. Okay, offensive line. Olu Fashanu had definitely like 4 or 5 or way too many welcome to the NFL moments last year, but he still displayed a lot of the same things that we saw coming out, again, really 2023 being, where you're like, this guy could be like one of the best tackles we've ever seen sort of things. No, I'm joking. He's not that good, but still. Showed a lot of flashes. He really held up towards the end of the season. Again, he's always going to be good against finesse rushers at some times. I don't really know what he's trying to do against the Patriots in those 2 games, but whatever. He's going to be solid for them. Carter Warren is not the best backup to have simply because he's pretty much unplayable if you're trying to run a downhill run scheme, which is what I think they're going to try to do in a lot of ways this year. So we'll see what happens, but he just doesn't fit the system. John Simpson's a really solid left guard. I understand last year he really underperformed as a run blocker, which is what's going to where he makes his bread. But he's still a guy that even in pass protection will be an average player. Like, that's his floor for that. And, like, again, I get it was really frustrating to watch if you're a Jets fan. Like, how the heck did he not steal that hole? But he's a good player. Xavier Newman, also another guy that I don't know fits what they're going to want to do next year, but at the same time, he can stop finesse. So, again, if they get into a situation of getting absolutely pummeled, he'll at least be able to block, give you something there. Joe Tippmann is a guy that I still think has a lot of stuff to work on in terms of his pass blocking makeup. But again, as a run blocker, he'll be a solid player. That's what he had coming out. Josh Myers coming over from Green Bay. Never was the greatest center, but he's a very talented player. And he will be he should honestly be starting, but I don't even know what's going on with him. He's had some off-field issues at times, too, but when he's played, he's been a good player. Elijah Vera Tucker, even then, like last year, I understand he said the injury issues. Wait, did he get injured last year, too? I think he did. He cannot stay healthy. That's the narrative on him. That's what I'll say. But did he, like, actually play last year? Yeah, I don't know. He did. What am I talking about? Yeah. Elijah Vera Tucker is a weird guy because a rookie, he kind of like a normal rookie, or better than so, guys, honestly, I guess like most typical rookie seasons are, you got the outliers, you got the encouraging and solid play, you got the, they showed some good things, they showed some bad things, you got the flashes where you're like, yeah, they didn't play well, but they had flashes, and then there's like, holy crap, that was an awful season. Elijah Vera Tucker was probably somewhere between the average, like a lot of good, a lot of bad, and like the solid play. 2023, he looked phenomenal. 2022? Yeah, he looked phenomenal. I'm getting all confuzzled here. Looked phenomenal before he got injured. 2023, phenomenal before he got injured. Not even a little worse. But then last year, overall, pretty darn good season. But at the same time, wasn't even close to the way he played in 2022 before he got injured. All right. With all that said, Max Mitchell's an awful NFL guard. Absolutely awful. Tackle, you're talking because he's pretty good in terms of setting the edge. But, like, he's just not strong enough. Amar Membo was my number 3 or 4 prospect in this draft. I'm really high on him because he's just a complete freaking dog. But at the same time, there's some stuff to work on there. Chuma Okafor was absolutely awful on a down-and-down basis last year for the Patriots. But as a backup, you can work with it. This O-line I actually think is very encouraging. But again, none of these guys outside of Amar, I would say Amar Membo is probably the most talented guy in this O-line, coming out even here. So none of these guys are really quality players outside of probably Elijah Vera Tucker. So definitely some questions there. I don't think they'll be completely terrible though. I'm gonna say a B- because I do like where it's projecting. That might be a little bit nice. I think a C+ is a little bit more realistic because there's definitely some hiccups here. Again, Amar Membo's gonna be I think will be great, but there's some weird things going on. But 12 points, the depth is interesting depth as well. So 18, 24, 10. We're going to get to 72 points. That's just not very good for this offense. And that's going to put them in the D tier. I'm going to say D+. Yeah, when you got a quarterback who can't really throw and some questionable other positional things going on, it's probably not going to end well. So I'm going to say a D+. Not a very good offensive performance there. Time for the defense. What do you know? Aaron Glenn comes in. It's a 4-3 defense. It was last year, too. Not really much of a difference. But anyway, Derek Nottie hasn't really given you average NFL play in production, really, that's mainly. Since probably, I'd say, 2021, but even then, he wasn't even that great that year. His best seasons were his first 2 or 3 seasons, I'd say. Ever since, he's really just not been very good. But again, he got injured last year. We'll see what he does this year. Wait, he didn't get injured? I swear he got injured last year. Whatever. He's not a great tackle. Quentin Williams has been giving you high-end defensive tackle performances really ever since I probably say 2021. As a rookie, he was very disappointing. 2020, he proved himself, but he really still wasn't really that great. 2021, pretty good year, and then again he broke out in 2022, and ever since, like I said, he's been giving you high-end production. Last year though, wasn't really, kind of got triple teamed every game, but still was again really solid player. So yeah, Quinn Williams is great. Jay Tafule, or Tafeli, cannot pronounce his name. He's literally just out there to stop the run. I don't really think he'll be out there that much this year, but that's what he's gonna be out there for if he is. Byron Koar is not. Just no, don't have him play, please no. He was brutal to watch with the Bears on film last year because there were some plays where holy, like, gap. That's what I'll say. Leonard Taylor, I really don't know why he can't, if he has a good training camp, why he can't be their starting defensive tackle. I loved him coming out. He was a UDFA. A lot of people were crapping on him because he wasn't that great at Miami in the senior season. They put him out there. He flat out produced. Yeah, there were some times where he was absolutely awful leverage. But outside of that, guys, he's a talented player. He will be showing you that this season. Really don't see necessarily why he won't be getting like a ton of snaps this year because he's got high-end, I wouldn't say high-end. He has pretty solid pass rush potential from the interior, which is so valuable, as you guys all know. And he's always going to be a good run defender just because of his athleticism. Valerian Mathis, kind of a tough break so far in his career. He had that injury with the what is it called, the Commanders in 2023. And then, last year he really didn't play well at all. So, yeah. And again, they had Jerzon Newton to step up after, he had that, the play against the Steelers. But anyway, this defensive tackle group is just like, there's some guys for sure, but they only have like one guy that's really that proven, one guy that I actually like. So, it's not the greatest. Despite, again, how good Quinnen Williams is. Will McDonald, after a very bad rookie season, had a really good year last year. I mean, 10 sacks and all, but like his pressure rate was through the roof. Maybe not as good as Bryce Huff's was, but still, great year. And for most of it, he was their number one guy off the edge. Jermaine Johnson got injured last year, so there's really nothing much to go off of. He had a really encouraging 2023 season where I wouldn't say he was like truly great, but he had a very good season, and he just completely showed that he has a different side to the way he can play in terms of like the speed of the power, but off of that a really nice swim move, which he just kind of like just showed up with in 2023. It wasn't much you saw as a rookie, so I'm excited to see how he can play this year, but I'm not expecting too much out of the gate. Tyler Barron is interesting guy because he is nowhere near as athletic as the rest of these guys in this D-line, but at the same time, he's pretty developed, like, honestly, from what I saw. Again, that was just the thing, like, again, the production wasn't amazing there, but on film, he showed some really rare things you see from, a guy coming out. Michael Clemens, really interesting season last year because he got a lot of pass rushing snaps towards the end of the season. I think, again, the first couple games, he looked really solid, really good pressure rate, and on film, had a lot of juice. As the season went on, kind of went down. But he's always been a pretty consistent run defender for them. I'd like to see that pass rush production continue to grow out of him because that could really make him a guy who'd be lethal rotationally. Then you got Eric Watts coming out of UConn. He's not really a true edge rusher. He's more of an interior guy. He'll be a solid run defender for them. I just don't know if he has really much of anything outside of like really a bull rush to really give you something there. But again, he definitely has a better shot at starting than maybe some of these other guys. So that's what I'll say. But overall, Rashad Weaver has not really played good football in a while. I think this D-line overall, I'd probably give a B. That might be a little bit ambitious, but I think that is fair to say. No, we're going to say a B- because the interior, again, I get how good it is, but like, no, it's got to be a B. Like, it's got to be. So 6'12", 16 points. The pass rush, I'd probably also give a B. I'd want to give it higher, but like the rotationally, it's pretty interesting. But like Quinnen Williams is gonna be asked to do a lot on the interior in terms of the heavy lifting, in terms of like the penetration there. And then these edge rushers, like I'm sorry, but like Jermaine Johnson, like even when he got injured, but like I'm not expecting him to like really be able to win consistently one-on-one to start the season. Will McDonald, I do though, so I don't know. That might B+ for sure. There's a lot of potential with this group, but I'm gonna stick it at a B. That might be a little bit on a higher production for sure, but projection. I think we'll stick with that though. All right. Linebacker Jamin Davis is just like a massive bust at the freaking Commanders picked. He from 2021 to 2023 he was their dude to start, and he was not the dude to start. That's what I'll say on that. And then, again, the instincts have always been lacking with him. He's always been a tremendously athletic player, though. And then last year with the Vikings and Commanders, he didn't really play much really at all, so it really didn't matter. But yeah, he struggled a lot last year, and he's going to really have to step it up. He's not a starting caliber linebacker by any means at this point in his career, though. Jamin Sherwood, holy crap, guys. This guy freaking balled out last year. He was probably the most reliable tackler in football last year. I get he's never going to be a guy that's going to really be that flashy in terms of forcing turnovers because that's just not part of his game. But in terms of just being a run fitter and being a guy you can rely on, and most times in some deeper zone coverage looks, is really fun to watch. He really broke out last year. Not really. That's a lot of reallys. He played awesome last year. Franciscus Maega, I cannot pronounce his name, but I'm not going to really try to either. So, yeah. Francisco, I think that's just what we're going to call him. I like what it's coming up this season in terms of what I think they'll try to use him as, but same sort of thing. He's not the most athletic. Quincy Williams, after an All-Pro 2023 season, was not the same player last year, but I'm not really. I think he'll probably be a median of what we saw in 2021 and 2023, if I had to guess. Which you could argue was 2022, but I think he was probably in the higher end than maybe what he will be this year. But last year, again, he was more towards 2021, where he had a lackluster season. So, yeah. I expect him to bounce back in some ways for sure, but I think again, kind of like a median because he well overperformed what he should have then. Again, back 2 years ago. Zaire Barnes, I'm going to be simply honest, guys. I don't think he's an NFL caliber linebacker, like, even as a backup. Like, simply put, like, just kind of slow, and also, like, the instincts are definitely lacking with him. But overall, they got 2 linebackers that, again, should be pretty solid. Outside of that, though, it's kind of a mess. Again, similar to what you talked about the Bears last year. Yesterday? Was it yesterday? Something like that. And then, again, we talked about Ruben Hypolite probably being less of an option than Jamin Davis right now, even though Jamin Davis is not very good. So, again, kind of fill in something, I guess, for their linebacker. I'm gonna sell it at a B- though, because again, no, C+, because there's a gaping hole. Jamin Sherwin's the only guy coming off a good season, so we're gonna say C+. Got to be fair there. 18 points. Time for the secondary. All right, secondary time. Cornerbacks. Yes, Sauce Gardner really wasn't that good at all for his expectations last year, but he is still probably the top 5 corner in football. People would still argue he's the best. He's not though, because he didn't play like anything close like that last year. Kind of just like didn't really care. Because again, rookie season, probably the best rookie season we've seen from any guy in the secondary ever. 2023, a little worse. And then again, last year he was not as good at all. So yeah, play better, Sauce. You're still elite though, because again, you have some of the best tools in the entire NFL. His press coverage, guys, is just out of this world. And like, guys, you're not gonna get separated. Like even last year, you weren't gonna get separated on him, despite he might not have been as effective at the catch point. Quantez Stiggers, very hyped up guy for his length and his potential, but it didn't look that great last year, and he doesn't really tackle well whatsoever, which is probably why you want to go to college, folks. Yeah. Brandon Stevens, I get he gave like 500,000 yards last year, but for most of the seasons, he was their #1 boundary corner, playing a hell of a lot of like on an island sort of things. And overall, yes, the rating didn't look great. I think he did a pretty good job on a consistent basis, similar to what we saw to Carlton Davis when he was over in Tampa. So that's what I'll say on him. You're going to get good play out of him, despite, he might not be as good. He's better as a zone probably overall, but again, he played a lot of man last year, so that's what I'll say on him. Azari Thomas is probably more talented and better fit to be that true boundary, again, outside of Sauce Gardner, but at the same time, he's nowhere close to his adapt to zone coverage as Brandon Stevens, so that's why he's going to definitely play over him. And you got Jarek Bernard-Converse, who was burnt toast last year, and Chris Boyd, who you do not want to see in the field, outside of maybe special teams at times. Michael Carter, probably the most underrated player in the NFL. I get last year that he really didn't have the most, playmaking sort of season or the most effective season, but guys, he's gonna flat out just lock guys up, and he's gonna be a really good slot for you. Outside of that, though, Isaiah Oliver has had his moments, but he's still not very good. I like the depth of corner for this team, though. I'm gonna give them a A-. That might be a little bit. Nah, you can argue it's an A. But I don't know. I don't think Brandon Stevens. Is it an A? Is it an A? I think, you know what? No, it's got to be an A- because Sauce Gardner wasn't that good last year. But again, if Sauce plays anywhere near what he played in 2023, yeah, they're one of the better cornerbacks rooms in the league, which I think very underrated. People are like, it's not that good. No, it is. 20 points, safety time. All right. Neither one of these guys I'm too confident in this year. Tony Adams last year, his best year of his career by a mile. Really showed some guts, I'm telling you, in range. Like, he really had to make some really not fun decisions last year in coverage. But again, his instincts have always been something that have been up in the air on him. He's never really been the most reliable, or not reliable, but dependable guy to see on the field. So that's what I'll say on him, but he was really good for them last year. Malachi Moore, there's goods and bads with his game. The biggest good is the fact that he does have some pretty good experience up to this point in his career, and he's played some really darn good players. So again, he's going to be able to be used to that. My question is if he's actually going to be a productive player in the NFL. That's what I want to see. Obviously, but yeah, like really for sure. Andre Cisco, I don't really know what's up with him right now, because again, he was really good for them in 2022, like overall, again, that being for the Jags, because in zone coverage, guys, he was really used a lot as a lurker, as well as being a boundary guy, and he was really good last year, though. And the year before, no, he was still pretty solid in 2023, I'll be honest. But last year didn't really seem to, I wouldn't say care, but kind of lost some of that urgency in his game. I think that definitely affected his production. Jalen Simpson's not a guy I want to see in the field, though, either. I don't know. This safety room, I'm probably give it a B. I think it's a decent group. 9-18, 24 points for them. And then we add that up for the overall defensive grade. Again, after we do this. There we go. All right, what do we have? No. We have 24, 20, 32, 16, and then we add 18 to that. That's going to get us to 110 points. This defense is actually looking pretty pretty solid. 110 points can put them in the B- tier. So yeah, maybe Aaron Glenn's defense has a resurgence to 2023. Okay, get into the Jets special teams unit, some other things. Caden Davis, complete mystery if he's a good kicker or not. He was pretty decent at Ole Miss. I mean, he kicked some big kicks, but like, not the strongest leg. And then you got Austin McNamara, who actually is so good. He was like the best punter in like college football in the past 10 years, so he'll be good. Xavier Gibson, again, great returner in terms of the electricity and potential, but I mean, sometimes he doesn't make the best decisions. Thomas Hennessy's a solid long snapper, but this special teams unit overall just remains questionable because, again, when you don't have a kicker, that's really proven. It's going to be tough to get anything higher than a C+, but I'll say, and now we're going to stick it to C. So 5 points. And then we look at the depth. Quarterback depth is probably, if I'm going to be honest, is going to be a B- because I think Tyler Taylor is a decent backup. Running back depth is probably a C, guys, at this point. Like, Braylon has not proven himself whatsoever. So C+ so far. Receiver depth, D-. That might be a little bit generous, too, to be honest with you. D-, so we're probably down to a C- so far on the offense. Then we look at the tight end position. I'd probably say it's a C-, which is a little bit nice. So what do we say so far? We're probably still at a C-. O-line depth overall, I'd probably give a C. Yeah, no, we could say, honestly, probably a C+. So a C+, we're probably up to a C. C on the offense for their depth. Defensively, looking at this D-line, again, if I had to give them an overall grade, again, just looking at like how the makeup of it is, I'd probably have to say for the depth, it's C+. That might be a little bit nice too. No, I think a C+ is probably warranted if we look at it over. No, C. So C there, and then we look at the pass rush. The rotation I like. There's definitely some potential there. So I'd probably say it's a C+, but overall, we're still probably at a C so far for this defense. Linebacker depth is a complete F. I mean, that's probably the biggest F you've ever seen. So, yeah, we're probably down to a D at this point. Cornerback depth, I'd probably give a B. So, maybe we're up to a D+. And then look at the safety depth, I'd probably give that a C. So, honestly, we're probably up to a C-. So, we had a C- and a C. I'd say a C for this Jets depth. Again, they've no depth at linebacker. And even then, like, there's some spots that are questionable in the secondary as well. But I think, again, shaky depth, but they have some guys, so that'll definitely help them out a little bit. 20 points, I guess, for the depth, if that's what we want to go with. Identity, defensively, they're going to be good. It'll be a pretty solid defense. Aaron Glenn's going to really kick him in the butt. At the same time, his defenses statistically have been awful as a pass defense unit, but again, he has a lot more intuitive and intriguing guys in terms of his coverage unit than he had with Detroit, just to be completely honest with you guys. So I think that'll definitely help him out, but overall, probably still sit at a B+ for the defensive identity because it's not like it's going to be a home run for sure. Offensively, it's an absolute F. I don't really know what you expect, guys. This offense has been one of the worst in football the past couple of years, and like again, I get they still have Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson, but Justin Fields is, I don't know if he's worse than what we saw with Zach Wilson, but there's a chance it's just that bad. So yeah, I'm saying F for the offense. I really am not looking forward to watching them play. So that's an F and probably a B+. So we're probably going to say overall, I'd probably say a C+ for this team's identity. They're not going to be great, but again, like I said, at least if the defense is decent, they're not going to have complete implosions, hopefully, from what we saw in 2022 and 2023 in a lot of ways. Which is going to put them at 30 points, which I think is going to boost them up a decent amount. That's all I have for the identity of this Jets team. Let's look at, no, I'm going to have to bump it down to a C because like it's going to be brutal at times against Jets fans. That's what I'm telling you. All I got for that, overall roster grade revealed now. Hey, and after all that, we get the same roster grade as the Bears yesterday. I'm not too surprised, though, because, again, they got very similar strengths and weaknesses. Not, again, like looked at, but like in terms of the balance of it. So that's going to be a C. I'm going to say a C-, though. No, it's going to be a C. Right? Yeah. This Jets roster overall shows a lot of talented players. Like, again, it's not like everyone left, but, like, again, when you have this quarterback situation, I don't know what you expect. But, yeah, Jets fans, hopefully it's not that ugly. I might actually bump him down to a D+. I think I'm going to do it. Yep, D+. So never mind, it's not a C. We psyched you there. 15. What is that going to be down? Wait. Right, 15. There we go. All right. What are we down? 15 points there. So what is that? 217. Yeah, I just pulled a fast one on you guys. No, not 317. That's way too high. That's like another team we'll get to soon. But 217 points for this Jets roster. That'll put them in the. Now I'm like the identity. What am I doing with that? What is that? C-. That's a little bit more realistic. Again, I don't think the roster's awful, but like it's not good either. So yeah, Jets. Hopefully we make the playoffs. Definitely not happening, but yay, we'll see. All I got for the Jets, and yeah, next team, pretty obvious. I'm sorry, PMO Browns fans for this one.
Give it up. Chubb busting it to the outside. Nick Chubb is still going. He's gone. Touchdown, Browns. 47-yard rip for Nick Chubb.
to the top of your screen. Everyone is matched up. Brown jersey.